Okay, Dr. Peter Marks, thank you today for spending time with us and give us such a inspiring speech. And this is the 5th year of the CGT conference that you have been one of our most steadfast supporters and deliver keynote remarks in 4 of those 5 years. We truly appreciate that. And looking back, how do you reflect on the progress of this conference and the broader CGT field? And what advice would you give to us as we are looking ahead?
Yeah, so thank you, first of all. It's been such a pleasure to be invited back for all these years. I think it's been wonderful to watch the conference grow in size and the enthusiasm of people coming to it. I think we've seen products mature over this time. We've seen an increased number of gene therapies. I think we've also seen novel technologies start to come in, like in vivo genome editing. I think I would keep doing what the conference is doing, which is covering the developments in science as they occur and serving as an exchange, a place that people can network with the different ideas.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate that. And yeah, so as you said, this conference keep growing, so we're really happy about that. I mean, this region and the cell and gene therapy is the originated place. We're really proud to actually have this meeting to bring the innovator and business leader together. Thank you. And during your years at SAPA, cell and gene therapies advanced from scientific promise to the clinical and regulatory reality. So looking back, what do you see as the most critical turning point for the field?
So I think for me, one of the really critical moments, it may be kind of boring, but was seeing the first CAR T cells make it across the finish line. So much had to go into that. Of being comfortable with the vectors that were used, the manufacturing process, and the clinical data. And actually they served as a great model for when things really go well, needing just a phase 2 trial, essentially a single-arm trial, to be able to get a gene therapy across the finish line. So I think, to me, that was one of the real turning points. 2017, to see that, as well as to see the first AAV vectored therapy for a type of retinal disorder come across the finish line. That to me was a real turning point. And then we started to see progress accelerate.
That's true. Okay, yeah. That's wonderful. Yeah, that's true. After that, it's just like almost like a floodgate. Yeah, we get so many. Now you said 29 approved.
29 approved. Yeah.
And you have been a strong advocate for using accelerated approval in rare diseases. How do we balance the urgency of early patient access with the requirement of rigorous post-marketing evidence?
So this is one of the best. It's one of the. It's a great question. And it's a challenging one because there's always going to be a balance here because obviously we'd like to have as much evidence possible, but sometimes it's just limited by the size of patient population. So I think it's a matter of really trying to understand the underlying disease to the best extent we can, understand whether there are biomarkers that might be useful, understand what clinical parameters are most important to measure, and then basically looking at the potential benefits of the therapy versus its risk in the context of, is there anything else out there for treating that disease? In many rare diseases, there's nothing else out there. And I think if we can convince ourselves that there's a reasonable chance that there's benefit, we can accept a certain amount of uncertainty that we then resolve in the post-market setting by getting additional data when we do either follow the patients longer or have additional patients treated.
Okay, great. That's good. That's a great point. And in your talk, you advocated for process-based approval. And to actually make this happen, what does it require? I mean, does it require FDA to act? Or, I mean, you actually mentioned Congress already have the legislation for this platform approach, but does Congress actually need to have further legislation, or does industry need to demonstrate proof of concept?
So
first?
I think, first of all, I think it can be done now, and I think industry, if they wanted to do this, I was actually one of the things I love coming here is someone asked me this question that you basically just asked me in this session of how they could do this, and the issue is I think one could in industry do a trial in which one does all the components that one would need, testing different. Essentially different constructs that have the same backbone, and showing that you get a good outcome, and then saying, okay, can we now have this approved as a platform? There's nothing that says the FDA couldn't use the current platform provisions or their current authorities to make that happen. The reason why sometimes it's helpful to have legislative action is because it makes it easier for it to be accepted across the agency. You see, that's what's helpful here with legislative or rulemaking, is that then it becomes part of the whole culture more rapidly than if it happens incrementally by one sponsor coming along and then another sponsor coming along.
Okay, so you're talking about more the agency actually have the flexibility, but with the legislature you can have more consistent between the different branches.
And it could happen more rapidly, I think.
Oh, I see, I see. Okay, I see. That's a good point. Okay, and then as the CGT field moves beyond the first generation therapies, which innovation do you consider most promising to improve patient access and practical scalability? There's so many new technology coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know for sure, but to me, I think because we've learned that the mRNA technologies, one of the things that came out of the COVID-19 pandemic were the mRNA technologies, lipid nanoparticle technologies, which are perfectly tuned and matched to the CRISPR technology. And so I think if we see CRISPR technology being able to be applied using automated technologies for manufacturing, you could imagine that because mRNA, that's nice thing about it is it's reasonably easy to synthesize, can be done in an automated fashion. Lipid nanoparticle formation can be automated. That combination could really accelerate the pace of progress by automating the process of manufacturing for small, for either individuals or small batches. And that could be a quantum leap forward because the cost could come really down.
True.
Right? Because listen, I love AAV, don't get me wrong, but AAV, each time you go to make an AAV vector, it's a whole process development process, whereas for RNA-based CRISPR therapies, a lot of this gets done in silico, computers checking that you don't have off-target effects, and potentially you can make products much more quickly.
That's true. Actually, I have the next question about a RNA technology. You pretty much already answered that. So, but where do you see the RNA technology actually evolve next 5 years? In which maybe a therapeutic area?
Yeah. So I think obviously we talked about CRISPR-Cas9, but I actually think we may see RNA therapeutics in other places, like repetitively administered mRNAs and nanoparticles to facilitate protein expression. Because it may be that in some cases that's a more efficient way and a much less expensive way of doing protein replacement therapies when you're not going to be able to do a gene correction. So I think we'll see it there. And I dare say that we may see mRNA reappear in vaccines again as the environment changes, because it is a wonderful technology to address rapidly emerging infectious diseases.
That's true, absolutely. I mean, especially now you're in your role.
But I think it's a very versatile technology that we can see being used everywhere, from infectious diseases to rare diseases, to potentially even some more common diseases for delivery of protein-based therapies.
That's okay. Okay, thank you for that. And now you actually sit on the other side of the table. So what has surprised you most about regulatory system from industry's point of view?
I'm pleasantly surprised at how much industry respects and listens to FDA and how much they really look to it for advice. I think the one thing that it's interesting. I shouldn't have been surprised, but when I was at FDA, the thing I always heard was consistency, consistency, consistency. I probably shouldn't be surprising, but in industry, I'm still hearing consistency, consistency, consistency. That's what they want. So I think it's been really pleasant to see how much regulators are actually respected within industry. And so it makes me realize how important the job is that FDA does, and how much value we place in it in industry, and why we hope that it's kept to the highest standard that it can be.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Really. Oh, thank you so much, Peter.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. To come today to talk to us and have this talk.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's one of my greatest pleasures each year to come here. It's been so wonderful to see the enthusiasm, the excitement that people share with one another when they attend this meeting.
Thank you. Thank you.